Beautiful. You can see the little waveforms up there.
Perfect.
All right.
We're rolling.
Audio's been synced. I would like to start this episode off with a land acknowledgement, because I think it's important to acknowledge the land that we're on. This is the territory of the Musqueam, Tsleil-Waututh, and Squamish First Nations. And yeah, I don't know, we are here. So this is good to be conscious of where we came from. So
For sure.
today I have a lovely guest, my dear friend Evan.
Hey.
I have known Evan for really so long.
Like
I think
It's 15, 16. What the?
kindergarten, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, since
It's
kindergarten.
insane.
So I've been to Evan's spots all along, and they're a little east side corner of this planet, and I've known him for a long time. Surprisingly, we can still bear each other. No, I'm joking, but
Yeah, speak for yourself.
but it's been fantastic, and I'm happy to welcome you onto my little show I'm doing.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. I mean, this is really crazy. I love what you're doing here. It's really cool with people you're bringing on.
Yeah,
It's like a lot of fun.
It's a little bit of silliness. I have some questions written down for you that I prepared, and now I gotta find them.
All right, I won't look.
I mean, you can try. I don't know if you can read my handwriting. It's a bit of a challenge sometimes. But yeah, I guess I'd love to get into a little bit about where we started off, where you started off, because I'm sure if you've watched any number of my episodes now, you know I like getting to know how people got to where they are now.
Yeah.
So before we go into where you are now too much, I'm curious as to what you perceived little Evan to be like. Like, what were your experiences here? I know you moved around a little bit.
Yeah, definitely moved around a bit.
And I'm curious as to how you've kind of shifted through that to become where you are.
For sure. I mean, so I grew up when I was really young. I was born in the West End, so by kind of Davie Street, around English Bay area. But when I was just like 5, we moved to East Van, which is why I met you and all the other guys, everyone else at elementary school. And then sort of towards the last year of elementary school, my parents were looking at moving out to kind of being able to pay off our mortgage and move out to somewhere that would kind of give us a different experience than living in the city. And so we actually moved out to Bowen Island, which it's an interesting spot there because it's not like Vancouver Island, where Vancouver Island is very distant from Vancouver itself. It's like a separate city, essentially, or like a separate area than the greater Vancouver area. But Bowen Island, in a way, is a lot like a suburb of West Vancouver, which is already suburbs itself, but because it's only a 20-minute ferry ride out there. So it's an interesting spot to be in, to live there, where like you have the somewhat isolated community, but you also have a decent closeness to like urban areas, and I could still it was still like a couple hours to go see you guys, which is not the worst thing ever, all things considering.
Yeah, but it's definitely quite a commute. You got
for sure,
a boat and a bus and a train and another bus, and suddenly it's a long ways
I
to
mean,
go.
my high school was in West Vancouver, so every morning it was like get up at 6 a.m. and get a bus and take a ferry and then get another bus. I think I spent 3 hours a day commuting for 5 years of high school.
That's all.
So I don't even want to think about how much time that was.
At least you got a lot of time to listen to music. That's what I always enjoy for commuting, but it is a lot of time spent sitting around, unfortunately. And I would love to touch on Bowen more in a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
But I'm quite curious as to what you're up to now. Like, I know you're a student, and you got some aspirations, certainly. I've talked to you about a few different things, which I'd love to get into, but I guess, what are you like studying, and what are you trying to use that to go forwards with?
For sure. So right now I'm studying up at Simon Fraser University. I'm actually living up on residence there, which is kind of a nice experience, being actually local to something for once. But I'm studying computer science, and I'm taking a minor in math. And I originally was going to do in high school I was thinking of doing like a math major, but it's like, oh, you can't get a job, whatever. And so I did computing science, which is just as good. And I'm happy I did, because getting into like the upper level math courses it's pretty it's wild stuff. It's definitely something else from like high school and calculus and all that.
Yeah, it gets pretty abstract, right?
Yeah, very abstract. So I'm glad that I'm focusing in on computer science. It's really interesting, and there's a lot of opportunities around for work later on, which is going to be really cool. Like getting to explore the kind of job space.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's such a demand for technology. I'm just thinking back to a conversation we had a long time ago where you said you were thinking of being a teacher.
Yeah, it's always something that I've been interested in. Like, I love working with kids, and for 3 years now, I've done summer camps in the summer working with kids aged like 5 through 10. And it's a really incredible, like, rewarding experience. It's a lot of fun. And just being able to be like a positive influence on these kids growing up, and just seeing like how they change and they grow it's such an incredible experience. And I don't know, it's something that's like really appealing for me in terms of like you said, being a teacher or something. The thing is, all the like training you got to do and all that, like I have a friend who's getting into teaching, and it's just a lot of work, and a lot of it seems like really frustrating. And especially once you're already a teacher, there's a lot of hurdles you got to get through. Like I think the state of teaching in Canada is not so bad, but I know especially like in the States, being a teacher can be really rough.
Yeah, that's for sure. And I mean, even here, I know my mom tried to become a teacher. I don't know if you knew that, but she worked at Kitsilano Secondary School for her bachelor's in teaching, and she hated it.
Yeah.
I think the high school age in particular is a challenging one because they kind of stop being nice.
For sure. That too. Yeah. Luckily, I haven't had to deal with that age group.
But yeah, no, so it definitely depends on the age group. I could see you doing very well as like a university professor working with like some really astute people, but I think there's something really soulful about being able to work with younger people and watching that like progression.
Yeah, it's kind of a dilemma where like I really enjoy working with younger kids and being able to help guide them, but I also enjoy the topics of the like higher level topics. I would probably rather teach to like more interested students, to like a university kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which is cool, because that actually might be an opportunity in the future.
Definitely.
Because you don't have to do as much teaching training to be a professor, which is ridiculous. But you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like you've kind of gone through the academic ringer, and at that point you're ready to put other people through it. but yeah, it's a cool thing, and I think that you do have that like ability to communicate well with people. So I could certainly see you doing very well at that.
Well, thank you.
Oh, no worries. For real.
That'd be a long way off either way. So
I mean, for sure, there's so many opportunities going forwards. Who knows?
Exactly.
You might team up with like Iverson and become some tech giants or something. But no, it's just a lot of future prospects, and I was curious about where you were on that right now. Mm-hmm. I'm a little curious about the university life, because I think that there's a lot going on there.
Yeah.
And definitely a very big like parallel to your time on Bowen. So
yeah, a big difference.
Big difference.
Big difference there.
Big difference. So I'm curious, kind of like what it's been for you recently. Like I know you just moved in with one of our mutual friends.
Yeah.
Not too long ago, you've been doing some courses. So where are you at in your studies right now? Like you're undergraduate for computer science? Yeah,
so I'm in my third year. This is technically like starting my third year, although for the past like 2 years or year and a half, it's all been online and all out of order. Everything's all messed up. So, but right now, yeah, I'm starting my third year courses, which is the upper division of university. So you start to specialize more, and you get more freedom in what path you want to take with your courses, which is something really cool. It's how they do the comp sci program at SFU, where there's all these different fields. So there's like AI, software development, database systems. There's a couple more, but it's kind of cool being able to really go deep into some of those topics where for the past 2 years it's all just been really low level, like basic stuff, building up a like benchmark of understanding.
Yeah, like the base of knowledge you need to even be able to tackle those. Exactly. Do you have any that you got your eyes on right now? Any of the higher level courses?
Yeah.
Or programs?
So one I'm really excited is next semester I'm going to be taking it's kind of just like intro to AI course.
Yeah?
Yeah, and hopefully it's good. The prof who teaches it this semester is apparently the worst, but it's a different person. So
all right.
Hopefully it's better. But that's a topic that I'd be super interested in.
Yeah, it's fascinating to learn about how people are using this kind of like neural network or like neural learning.
Yeah, neural networks, all sorts of machine learning, and then AI is like a whole different wheelhouse as well.
Yeah, so this is something I asked John on in one of my previous episodes. Maybe I can figure out how to link it in a corner somewhere.
Oh yeah,
that'd be wild.
Eye.
Yeah. But I'm curious as to your take on it. Do you see like a big future in AI, and do you see it going in more of like a sentient direction, or do you see it more as like an underlying program as what's kind of going on right now?
Yeah, so like kind of sentient versus algorithmic. I might say I would kind of classify right now. There's so much algorithmic AI, like machine learning systems. That's what runs Google. That's what runs YouTube. Like all social media is managed mostly by these AI. Which kind of sounds scary, but one thing that like I think a lot of people don't realize right now is that our computing power is nothing close to like sentient AI, like if you like in movies and stuff, where you have like the Terminator, who's some android who like can think like a person. That's not even close. And it's kind of the way I like to think about it is if you look at the human brain, it really is just a connection of neurons. It's its own sort of neural network.
Yeah.
But it's massively complicated. It's so much larger in scale than anything we can create right now by like magnitudes and magnitudes. Which is kind of a crude way of looking at it, but we'll have to see when our technology catches up. If we end up making sentient AI, or if we just let make more algorithms that run everything really well.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess it ultimately boils down to like the problem of consciousness, which is that if you make a computer smart enough or able to process enough information or whatever the prerequisite might be, like would it be a conscious being? Yeah. And that's a hard. I don't know. I don't think we're gonna answer it here. That's a
Star Trek question.
That's definitely a Star Trek question. We need God, I don't know any Star Trek characters.
I don't really
call on someone.
I don't really know any Star Trek characters either. I know one of them's a android, I think.
Android man. I don't know.
But yeah, that's a super interesting topic.
Yeah, it's wild, and it's good that we got minds like yours to try and piece it apart in the future.
Yeah.
I think it's
hopefully don't create a Skynet situation and just destroy the Earth.
That would be a pretty unfortunate outcome, I think.
Yeah.
It could be better. Could be better. I want to take a bit of a detour now.
Yeah.
I would love to talk a little bit about music. I know we've been doing a bit of musical musings, and I will try and edit one of those in at the end.
Okay.
But I'm curious if you have anything that's been inspiring you recently, and kind of like what's been going on in your musical world. Have you been like practicing? Do you have anything you're writing or like excited about?
Yeah, I haven't been kind of writing as much as I want to right now. I've been pretty busy, but I have been trying to listen to a lot of different stuff. A lot of it right now is kind of alt rock, experimental rock kind of stuff. So, I mean, of course, you showed me Polygon Dwanaland, amazing album. But also, I mean, yeah, Spotify has been recommending me some decent stuff.
yeah, you've been sending me like some crazy Japanese rock.
Yeah, stuff. Exactly. So it's kind of cool. That's another algorithm that runs our lives. But it's
That's
cool.
very true.
They're doing a pretty good job.
Yeah.
I can't complain.
I mean, if Spotify makes an AI that recommends you better music, they're doing something pretty awesome, I think.
Yeah. And it doesn't seem to be like just recommending popular stuff as well, which is the worry with those kind of systems, is that they just reinforce what's popular. But yeah. For stuff that recently, that's kind of been it. I've been trying to kind of explore my old music that I have saved. So going through some old stuff I've listened to, revisiting old artists. So a lot of that most of my old music's a lot of rap. So looking at like old Aesop Rock has been really cool.
All right.
Some more Tech Nine.
Did you hear his newest release, the Aesop Rock?
I did. I listened to it, I think, once through. I'll have to play it some more.
Yeah, you gotta work it a bit. But no, there's some pretty classics, and you're one of those people that strangely has just found all this like amazing underground rap that no one else has heard about, which I am always amazed at. So
you make it sound like I'm way in like the rap scene, which I'm not.
No, I mean you've given me two of my favorite recommendations of Decca and Black Keys. That's BLAQUEKEYZ.
I think he's just B Keys now.
Is he? He might just be B Keys now.
Still with a Z, but yes.
This is a great, freaking fantastic album. Really
Yeah,
have enjoyed it. So I don't know, where did you find those recommendations?
So I know Black Keys or B Keys I found through he features on a lot of John Bellion songs.
Okay.
John Bellion songs, who is more popular kind of pop artist, I would say, is his genre. But with a lot of like rap verses and stuff he'd put in, he'd get B Keys on those, which is really cool. I think that they definitely go back. But yeah, looking into his solo work was definitely Master Key Principles is like an GOAT album.
Yeah, one of my favorite rap albums.
Yeah,
for
I
sure.
love that album.
And the other one I was curious about was Decca.
Yeah, Decca. That was, I believe I had a friend in high school who introduced me to probably like Breadcrumbs or like, I think it was like Breadcrumbs, like the music video. Yeah. And I saw that and I'm like, A, this music video is crazy. Like, this is so cool. And B, this artist is nuts. Like, the lyrics are so good. I think he also introduced me to John Bellion, so all comes from the source.
The original friend with the wild,
exactly.
wild recommendations. It's funny how it travels like that, because I've recommended Decca to so many people now.
Oh, me too.
And everyone loves him.
Yeah.
I recommend less people B Keys, because it's just so sad the music's not on streaming anymore.
I know.
That
and
one
the
album.
music is also pretty sad.
It is also pretty sad, but I mean,
it's a cool aspect.
Yeah.
I love that like melancholy rap music, like Kill Bill the rapper does that. Rav does that as well. I love those guys.
Yeah, there's a bit of an edge to it that I think is missing in a lot of rap.
It's almost like a bit of realness.
Yeah.
That's not hung up in like playing the rap game or like beef or
it's
drugs.
People are so caught up in the like the image of the whole rap culture.
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of just going about like what's going on with them personally. I think that's a big difference.
Yeah, and there's a lot of artists who do that now. So yeah, Rav and Kill Bill do that really well. This is a wild one. Lil Darky does that.
A little Darky.
I listened to like 2 of his songs. They're very edgy.
All right.
But yeah,
I don't actually know if I've heard any Lil Darky, but
he's got some crazy music videos.
Yeah?
As well. Like animated ones, which are cool.
I'll have to check that out. Check out that recommendation. It's definitely cool to see some like real music out there, like some actual expression, I guess.
I mean, I don't want to knock on like.
Yeah, I mean, there's some super well-made music that isn't about that. Don't get me wrong.
But the cool stuff that goes under the radar.
Yeah, totally. So I think those are some cool recommendations. I would definitely recommend. I'm a little bit on like the whole music video thing, but this has to do more with like content consumption in general.
Oh yeah.
I think that YouTube, TV, stuff like that can be a pretty big hindrance in like the modern lifestyle, especially with the whole like year and a half of doing nothing from COVID.
Yeah, YouTube has like consumed my life and it's awful.
I feel kind of the same way. I watch far too much content, and it's kind of strange going back to the whole AI algorithm thing. They've gotten really good at figuring
You're
out
doing a really good job.
what people like to watch. So I'm curious if you have anything that you do to like regulate yourself, regulate your internet, your distractibility to try and stay on top of work, or like any strategies that work well for you to get stuff done.
Yeah, so stuff that has worked well for me, getting like a really
Oh, that was you. There's a bit of a gel falling away. Technical difficulties. Let me just there's a bit of tape right there. Got a bit of extra ASMR for you folks there.
Crinkling paper.
All right,
You need the microphone with the ears on it.
Oh yeah. We just put it right here. It's like, ASMR.
Yeah, we're
podcast.
both on one side of the audio.
Hey Evan, I'm not even gonna cap. I want to shoot an ASMR podcast.
That'd be bizarre. I'm not gonna say that I'm into ASMR, but that'd be interesting. There's definitely a whole world of.
It's a can of worms.
Yeah,
it's very polarizing.
Exactly, it's very polarizing.
But I don't know. I like ASMR. I would use it to sleep sometimes because my brain doesn't do that.
Yeah, I think it probably has a lot of like really useful applications and benefits to listening to it, I'm sure, but just not for me.
Yeah, totally. It weirds most people out, and I respect it. But
yeah. What were we talking about?
We were talking about how do you regulate?
Oh yes.
Regulate your internet usage to be a productive human being.
So what I was going to say is that having like a really solid sleep schedule is super helpful in general. I find that I end up using my phone or the internet in general, social media, when I'm usually like out of sync with kind of with my sleep schedule, or if I'm feeling like kind of tired or not up to something, especially in the morning and at nighttime. That's when I use it the most. So really like solidly getting out of bed at this time every day and trying to be in bed by this time every night, and like getting that the same even maybe through the weekends as well. You can cut loose as well, but
yeah,
that's something that's been like probably the most effective for me. Other stuff, a lot of apps have like ways to regulate your usage. Sometimes just like monitoring your usage will give you a bit of a like shell shock of like, whoa, that's a lot. That's
weekly screen time reports.
Oh my god.
I got some pretty hefty ones every once in a while.
Yeah.
I'm like, ooh.
It's like,
wonder where my week went.
I've been slipping.
Yeah, but no, it's a good thing to monitor, and that's actually not really what I was expecting you to answer with. So
okay.
That's a curious answer, and I think you're very right. I definitely fall into the trap of like, oh, it's only 11. I could watch YouTube videos for another 4 hours or something.
Yeah, or like, oh, I'm in bed. I'm pretty much sleeping.
Yeah.
Let me just pull out my phone.
One more episode. Whatever. One more video or whatever. Yeah.
But it really does. You do notice that, or you notice the change when you stop doing that. It's like, that is not sleeping.
Yeah.
It's not an effective way of getting rest.
It's by no means sleep. But
what were you thinking?
Was I thinking?
What were you thinking I was gonna say, or like what strategies?
I don't know. Just like getting stressed when assignments come. So like having a reason to like get it all done, or using like a Pomodoro method or something. Not just like sleep better. I think that's a better way of looking at it.
I mean, definitely like being stressed about assignments and stuff, and if you're in like a kind of not ideal mental state, so if you're stressed, anxious, whatever it may be, that will contribute to whatever usage you have.
Yeah, that's very true.
It's different person by person. So some people, maybe if they're stressed, they'll like be more on top of their responsibilities, but maybe for some people they just need to like an escape from it.
Yeah, for sure. This ties into something that's like this like arousal theory in psychology. It's the idea of how like activated your nervous system is. And for some people, there's like a zone of optimal arousal that's different for everyone. So some people will perform the best when they're calm. Some people are really excited. That's just like a personal thing.
Yeah.
So no, that's for sure. Do you find that for you get you have to be like really aroused, not in
Yeah.
the sexual way, but in the autonomic way to get things done? Like, are you wait until it's a problem and then get it done, or do you find that it's been helpful for you to structure things out and plan things out?
If it's something I don't want to do, I often wait until it becomes a problem. One thing that definitely a main motivator for me is if there's someone relying on my work or relying on me for something, I'll be way more on top of it. So like group projects or meeting up with someone. Like, this is one thing for me going to the gym is if I'm going with somebody, I'll pretty much always be there. But if I plan ahead, like, oh, I'm gonna go tomorrow morning, it might not happen.
Might not have it. It might be one of those morning YouTube.
Like, I hate letting other people down.
I see.
I'll let myself down all the time.
Yeah, but letting someone else down is a bit harder.
I feel awful doing that.
That's funny. How we learn to value other people more in that way.
Well, I feel like I treat people the way I feel like I should treat myself. You know, like,
you feel like you should treat yourself
this way. This way by people around me, so I'll treat them that way. But I won't do that. Extend that to like how I manage myself.
Yeah,
which is, it's hard.
It is, because I think that it's a good rule to live by, as like treating yourself as someone you like or like are responsible for in a way.
Yeah, it's like the reverse golden rule.
Yeah, treat yourself how you would like others to treat you,
or how you would like to treat others, something like that.
Wait, how do we reverse the golden rule?
Do unto thyself as you would do unto others.
Yes.
Something like that.
I like that. Actually, I have a question about this.
Sure.
Why is logic the math of reason?
Oh, yeah. That's what I was literally in my head. I'm like, if we treat the golden rule as logical, whatever, how do we reverse it?
So can you explain logic a little bit? Can you explain how we could maybe deconstruct this rule?
Yeah. So this is something I learned in like my first year of university, and it was a combination of two different courses I was taking. I took a course in discrete mathematics, which is it's like math that's not calculus in a way. So instead of looking at like these slopes and graphs, you look at like how different numbers interact with each other. There's tons of concepts under it outside of just calculus that you do in high school. But in that, we had a section on logic and how you can treat logical statements as these sort of mathematical terms, and you can create equations with them, and you can like replace stuff and do operations on the whole thing and like solve them, which is pretty cool. And then the other course I was taking was a philosophy course where you actually use those concepts to write papers, and to write papers that were like solid. So like there weren't like a lot of like counterpoints or counter arguments. You had to make sure you follow these logical rules to make sure that your argument was solid. Yeah. And so the combination of those two was really interesting to me because, yeah, like you said, logic is, in my opinion, the math of reason. And I think reason is like the number one human trait in terms of progress and in terms of just like anything positive. There's usually reason behind it.
That's true. And everything from, I guess, technology, the more modern things, like the most crucial innovations, things like language, which is really important. There has to be reason behind it.
Yeah, and even just the way we interact with each other.
Yeah, you can't just act all crazy willy-nilly.
Yeah.
You're never going to get along with people.
Exactly. It's if someone's being unreasonable, it's one of the most frustrating things.
That's very true.
Right? Like, think about when, when your boss is like being silly, or like, it's like, what the hell are you guys doing?
Why are you doing this?
It's so frustrating.
It is, especially when people won't see that they're being unreasonable. Like, if there's something that's blatantly obvious to you, but people just don't get it, that's like, all right, I don't know. So, what was I going on about? Right, I was actually quite curious as to if we could deconstruct the golden rule. I guess we kind of already did in a way.
Well, okay, let's do it. So, do unto others as you would have them do unto you.
Yeah.
So, we could say doing unto could maybe be like an implication. So like, or it could be a relation between two things. So if I was A and you were B,
Yeah.
I would do unto you would be like A to B,
A to B.
as you would do unto me, so B to A.
Yeah.
So you could kind of relate them in that way. This isn't like literal logical things, but this is another this is in the field.
Okay.
And so that's actually a really interesting thing, because immediately what you get there is a bijection, or like a two-way implication. And so when you reverse it, it's actually just itself.
Yeah,
it's the same thing.
It would be like A plus B equals C, or B plus A equals
Yeah,
C.
it's pretty much if I am... This is so, like, abstract. This is we're losing people.
That's okay.
Essentially, it could only exist either going both ways or not at all.
It could only exist going both ways, but not all. Yeah, because...
So it doesn't make sense for me to treat you well and for you to not treat me well.
Yeah.
Or vice versa. It has to be mutual. So either we're both like not treating each other well, or we're both doing unto each other as we would.
Yeah. And, well, I don't know. I think that's a great way to act in general. Golden rule is pretty valid.
It's a reasonable way to act.
It is. And very logical, because if you don't want people to treat you a certain way, or you don't, why would you wait? I said too many words and tried to listen to myself.
It's the golden
talk.
rule.
It's
makes
the golden
sense.
rule. Yeah. But no, okay. That's logic. I like logic. Would you ever consider studying philosophy or anything like that more thoroughly, or are you more into the whole, I guess, technological and mathematical side of it?
So yeah, I've taken 2 philosophy courses. As at SFU, you have to take 2 humanities courses. So I took 2 philosophy courses, and they've been like 2 of my most interesting, like most enjoyable courses. That has been the only time I've been like, yeah, let's write this paper. Let's go. Like, this is going to be, I'm so excited to write this paper.
I cannot relate.
Yeah, because when you do like English or history or social studies, like any of those things, it's always you're writing about something that happened and you're doing synthesis or analysis on it. And you have to follow like really strict rules, and it sucks. And it feels like everyone's done it before as well. Like you're never doing anything unique or interesting.
You're basically reiterating what your teacher tells you at best, and like trying to come up with your own idea that someone else has already come up with.
Yeah, and then you get graded on like how well you're able to imitate like scholars.
Yeah.
Which is lame. But where these philosophical papers that I've had to write, it's you actually like look at a topic, and in one of these courses we were looking at specifically current topics, so like stuff that's still being debated, and you have to analyze different papers that other philosophers have written and use that information to form your own opinion, and then from that opinion you have to support it with arguments and with these logical rules and all that. But you're really just writing a super unstructured paper that's just about your opinion.
Yeah.
Which is like way more fun.
Do you get to do more kind of like stream of consciousness writing?
For sure.
Yeah?
100%.
Oh, that sounds good. Why am I even in English right now?
I'd recommend trying a course. I don't know how flexible your courses are at Langara there.
Yeah, I mean, I'll certainly look into it, but hopefully I'll just be able to do an SFU one in the future.
Yeah, I was going to say, when you transfer over.
Yeah. Look out 20 whatever. I don't even know.
I don't even know what year.
I don't even know. I looked into it, and apparently they have a program to allow people in under special circumstances, which would count as me, because I have ADHD. So it would basically lower the admission and look at my profile instead, which could be kind of good.
That's a reasonable thing to do anyways.
That's true. I've been floundering a little bit.
Yeah, it's kind of like a topic of debate of whether or not like GPA admissions or any of that is even a useful way of determining how successful someone will be in university.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because from what I've heard, and this is anecdotal, but it's apparently not even like a very good determiner of, so like if you're successful in high school, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be successful in university.
Yeah.
And that's the way they do it right now, where they just look at your high school grades and your GPA pretty much. And some more elite universities, you have to write like papers and stuff, which makes more sense.
Yeah, they want to look at you as like a person and not as a number on like a data
you'd
set.
hope so.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think sometimes they just go through so many applications that's the way it ends up being done.
That's true. And I mean, when you have like thousands of people applying in a term, it's hard to give everyone the attention they really deserve.
Yeah, exactly. It's a weird spot it's in.
Truly, but we're lucky here in BC to have really good like transfer programs.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Hopefully it'll pull through. It's exciting to be able to go to uni and like see the boys in the campuses. I don't know. It's cool.
Yeah. No,
it'd
be super cool having you up there.
Yeah.
Of course.
Love to go. And I mean, my mom works there, so I gotta make it up.
You get the free tuition.
Truly, what a
bitch.
what a flex.
Sorry, I don't know if we're allowed to swear on the podcast.
You can say whatever you like, Evan. Wait a minute. No. Yeah, I don't know. I have no like regulations. There's no one I can piss off because I don't have any sponsors or advertisers.
True.
So it's kind of just free for all right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess my mom's sponsoring me, but she doesn't care, I hope.
There's definitely a line.
Yeah. There's a line that shouldn't be crossed, but I think that's fair.
For sure.
In the cases of life. I don't know. I'm just looking at my little book now, and there's a few ways we could take this.
Yeah.
But I don't know. What we were going about school. I think it would be interesting to talk about exercise a little bit.
Oh yeah, that'd be super.
I think that. Yeah, and I would love to start the discussion with kind of, I guess, how you find your ability to perform mentally, as well as like, I guess, in a more like goal-oriented sense. How does that affect, or how is that affected by your ability to be active, like go to the gym?
Yeah, it's an interesting relation there, because it's the kind of thing where sometimes you feel like, oh, I'm super pumped up, I went to the gym, I feel good, and I'm ready to do stuff. Sometimes it's, oh, I just worked out and I'm really tired and I want to lie down. So it's hard to say if there's a direct connection. But one thing I will say is that if it's like having the gym being part of my routine and part of my habit, in general, I think I feel a lot better about myself and about just what I do and everything. Like when I'm active, which is hard to do, especially in computer science, and it's a cold winter, it's all rainy and it's dark all the time. But when I'm active, I feel just like a lot better in general. I get better sleep and I think harder.
Think harder. That's a very important thing to do, you know. I think, I don't know, at least personally, I find like a big correlation to it for my mental well-being, just like feeling good in myself.
Yeah.
I think it's an important thing to feel all right, just like going about life. And at least personally, in my experience, I found that to be one of the biggest things. It's just like how consistently I can move around and like kind of let loose in a way.
Yeah, and it's really fun, like being able to do like more physically demanding things. So like if I go climbing with you, that's a lot of fun, or going biking, or it's cool to be able to try something new and have a decent amount of like success with it, just because of you're in like a decently fit state.
Yeah, you got a good baseline.
I know in high school, like I was pretty out of shape. The main thing was I had terrible like stamina or like endurance. So like I couldn't run very much. Yeah. I get super tired. I enjoyed like playing sports and stuff, but yeah, after actually like going to the gym and doing cardio and stuff, I feel in a way better spot about my ability to just like live and be fit and exist. Yeah,
I feel there's a kind of baseline confidence that comes with that. Like if something were to happen or that you needed to help someone out, that physically you'd be able to perform it.
Exactly.
I don't know. I think that's an interesting thing and something I'm always curious about, because I at least for me, it affects me a lot. So I'm curious as to how people manage that. Like, do you feel like you need to schedule it in? You need to schedule in going out and doing things, or can you function well just like slogging away for a few weeks?
Yeah, it's hard to say. I think it's definitely like really good to have a routine. Same thing with the sleeping and whatnot. I think that's especially if you're working out, you do want to have it kind of on a routine basis to get the best results and to not to reduce risk of injury and fatigue and all that.
Yeah, you don't want to just be going at it randomly.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I definitely need to like schedule them out and try and get like a set in like, okay, Monday at this time, Wednesday at this time, I'm always going, because otherwise it just kind of slips away.
Yeah. Well, it's when you do that, you stop making it a choice, and it's just kind of something that you do.
Yeah.
And then it's really easy.
Exactly. It's a good spot to have it in.
Yeah, that's a pro tip. Trying to reduce the number of choices you make.
Yeah. Decision fatigue is real.
It's very real.
That's hard.
It is.
It's hard to always be deciding everything. There's so many things you have to think about in the world.
Too much thinking.
To think. Brain hurt.
Yeah, so no decide. Just do.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I've been trying to do that. I've been really bad at it. I keep making choices about things, and it's unfortunate.
Building habits is so hard.
That's very true. Did you ever read any of those like self-help habit books?
I have not.
Classic. Well, that's probably a good thing.
There's a lot of good info out there, and there's a lot of just kind of like junk.
Yeah, there's a lot of this will fix your life, so buy it.
Yeah. The self-help industry is massively overfull.
It really is, but
it's bloated.
it's a little bloated. It needs a bigger belt.
It needs a bit of trim, is what it needs. It needs to hit the treadmill.
That's true.
No. Sorry.
But
no one needs to hit the treadmill.
No one needs to. Well, I mean, unless you're in like physical therapy and you gotta walk again.
Yeah.
In that case, I would recommend doing what your doctors advise.
This is a weird.
We've gone into a strange direction.
Yeah. We're trying to backpedal here.
Yeah. Let's backpedal a little bit. I do have questions about like tools. I'm really curious as to how you organize yourself. Do you have any like practices that help you stay on top of your life? So
one thing that I have done before, one method I've done is where this is one that's hard to keep. I'll say that first off. But when I'm doing it, it works. Where I keep like a spreadsheet, and it will have each day of the week split up into like time slots. So like every hour or half hour or something, where I'll kind of plan ahead what I want to do for that time. And so it'll be like, okay, well, midnight, that's bedtime. And then, I'll get up at 8 and I'll have breakfast, and I'll do like everything's on there pretty much. On one hand, it's good to be able to go back and you put in the stuff that you actually did do during those times. And you can see like, okay, I'm not good at keeping these habits, or I'm kind of letting this stuff slip. On the other hand, it is hard to do. That it is like the ultimate decision fatigue, because you have to go through like every week and decide for like every time slot, like what am I doing then? And then when you get to that time, you actually have to like do it.
Yeah.
It's very hard to keep that, but it's something that has been like the most effective in like totally changing everything I do.
Yeah, just like being 100% on top of all of your literally everything you're going to do that day.
It's definitely, I mean, changing your whole life habits at once is the opposite of what you want to be doing if you're building habits or trying to achieve a goal. But it's an interesting thing to try, because now I know like, hey, I've done that before where like I've been way on top of everything, and it does feel good. I'll say that much when you're doing it.
But the question is, how do you make it feel good for the rest of your life?
It's not even like, it's just you got to put in more effort. And that's something that's just in general, you got to put in effort to feel good about stuff and to have life go the way you want it to. It's not just going to coast by.
That's very true.
which is tough. It's unfortunate. It'd be nice if it did.
Yeah, I mean, everyone
in some aspect.
Yeah, I feel like there's a part of everyone that just wants to kind of let go of what's been going on and kind of coast. It's nice to coast a little bit.
Yeah, but, in moderation.
Yeah, in moderation. But it becomes a very like addictive lifestyle for a lot of people. It's easy to coast away a few years. So I don't know. It's good to be on top of what you're doing. Good to be on top of yourself. And make habits. I've definitely done something similar. I had this agenda. I mean, I still have it. I should use it. With like every hour or every half hour or whatever, you can write down your tasks. So basically doing the same thing, but not in an Excel spreadsheet. And when I did do it, I felt on top of everything, super on top of it. And then I lost the habit of writing in my journal.
I know. And it's so easy to let it slip away.
Yeah. So
I think one of my New Year's resolutions is gonna be to buy a calendar and actually like use it.
That would be wild.
It's something where I always lose track of events and stuff, and then even if I don't miss anything, it's just kind of stressful, like not being 100% sure of when deadlines are and when I have plans and when someone's birthday is and all that.
Yeah.
It'd be so much nicer to have it on a calendar.
That's true.
And then you just don't have to think about it.
Yeah, you do like one big session every couple of weeks or once a month or whatever. You make sure you know everything that's going down, every big thing.
Or even just like, when you plan something, just put it there.
Yeah.
And then when it comes like a week before or something, it's like, oh yeah, that's coming up. Nice to know that now instead of like remembering the day before when I get an email about this assignment that's due.
Yeah. You need to turn it into a little logical equation for your brain to run. Like when plan is made, input Excel sheet.
Computer
plan.
brain.
Turn it into a little logical math equation.
A little computer instruction.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. You're a bit of a wizard with the computer. For those of you who don't know, which I'm assuming is almost everybody.
I definitely have a computer brain.
Yeah, it's kind of wild. But he's the person who I made the computer I'm using.
Yeah.
He helped me set it up, threw new things in it, and I don't know. It's very impressive. Things go to where they're supposed to, which was very different before when I was trying to wrangle it.
Yeah, it feels nice to just have a solid piece of hardware.
Truly. But as Evan did say, he does have a little bit of a computer brain. So I'm
a tiny bit.
I'm really curious as to how you experience mental imagery.
Yeah. So this is the kind of thing where I didn't realize that everyone else like mentally image stuff different than the way I do, which is like not at all. Essentially, if you close your eyes, everyone follow along at home, close your eyes and just imagine like a fire truck or something, and you can like see it there. Right? Yeah,
there's like an image of a fire truck.
So it's just a black I just see the back of my eyelids. It's kind of weird because it's not really like a hindrance. I can still think about stuff and I can somewhat image it by so the method I have is I can trace on this like black canvas. I can trace the image out by like looking at a one point and like moving it around to like outline shapes and stuff. But then that's about it.
Almost completely aphantasic. I believe that's the term for it.
So I think you looked into it.
Yeah, I was curious about it because I remember you mentioning that to me a long time ago, and I'm kind of surprised. The other thing I learned about that was really interesting is there's people that don't have an inner monologue. So there's like a lot of spirituality around it in some sense of like being enlightened or thoughtless or whatever. But there are people that just don't have an inner monologue. Like they're just not born thinking things. So
that's rude.
Apparently, though, I saw this one YouTube video. I thought it was fascinating. This lady was an incredible writer because words weren't like words that she would think. She wouldn't think out phrases, but like how they were like put it together logically through like the position of the words. It was like musical almost. It was wild.
Yeah, if you look at people who have like perfect pitch or whatever, like they just think completely differently than everyone else, and it's really incredible. It's a blessing and a curse.
Yeah, you're just wired differently.
Yeah.
But, I mean, most people are. I feel like there's kind of a big normal that doesn't exist.
Sense.
Yeah. There's a big normal that doesn't really exist, but it is curious.
You can see the extremes.
Yeah. So I'm
pop it.
as an aphantasic person, do you like get vivid dreams? What is the dream experience like for you?
I go through like phases where I'll dream more. Like I'll have like for a span of 2 weeks, I'll have like a dream every night that I can somewhat remember in the morning. And then I'll go through phases where I just don't really have any dreams or I don't remember them at all. But honestly, it's interesting because when I dream, I do actually like mentally image stuff. So I can see things. It's like I'm somewhere, but I still know that it's a dream, or I know that it isn't like reality.
Yeah.
So I kind of play out like a scenario in my head, right? In this dream scenario where I see things and I hear things and whatever. But yeah, it's interesting. I definitely can't close my eyes and like recreate any of that.
Huh. And I guess you said it felt very like vivid in a way. Do you ever lucid dream?
I don't think so. I feel like I have agency in my dreams, but I also feel like they kind of follow like there's like a destined path that my dream is going to take. And I'm just kind of along for the ride.
You're going for it, but you're kind of there.
Yeah, like I don't feel like I'm locked into what's happening, and so in a way it's really hard to say. Talking about dreams is difficult.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's hard to even just grasp onto the memories of them.
It's an abstract concept, and I don't think your brain likes to hold on to them all that much, unless you have something that's like pretty shocking or
exactly.
out of the ordinary.
Yeah, some crazy nightmare or something.
Yeah, you're gonna remember it.
Exactly.
But if it's just like, oh, I had a dream that I did a thing that I usually do and woke up, there's not much to remember. But it is curious. I've always kind of wondered what the difference was, and I can't think of another person I've met that reports being aphantasic. Though I do feel like it's very common for people to just have no idea and have it.
I'm still second guessing myself if it's even like weird. I'm like, this is just normal, right?
Yeah, I mean,
this is just normal.
I think it's just like it's normal to be within like spectrums for everything in a way.
Yeah.
We're very like varied creatures. So there's like the spectrum of imagery, and yours is like an Etch-a-Sketch that's always being shaken, and some people's is like HD vision when their eyes close.
Yeah, you know? I literally had to read about it to like think, wait a second, this isn't normal. Like no one ever talks about it. It's just assumed to be the same for everybody. Yeah. It doesn't affect your life at all.
That's very true. Well, maybe it doesn't, maybe it doesn't. Like maybe
it's
you're
so hard to say.
Yeah. Because I feel like you're really good at like thinking things through and kind of like processing in a sense.
Yeah.
Maybe someone who's super imaginative might be worse at that, but better at something else.
Or is even like imagination or creativity or whatever, is that even tied in to your ability to mentally image? It's hard to say.
I don't think there's any research out there on it.
Yeah. I would say there's definitely not conclusive research.
By no means. Yeah, that is a big thing too, is like creativity, thinking outside the box. It's an interesting thing. But I don't know. Creativity is one of those things that's hard to grasp.
Yeah, it's such a broad concept.
Truly. Oh, it sounds like we got a visitor. My mom's downstairs. I'm gonna go tell her that we're recording, so
hiatus.
A little quick
intermission.
Hiatus. Yeah. One second.
We'll be back after these sponsored messages.
Sponsored messages from my only sponsor. On est en train de faire un épisode. Ah, ok. Merci. Moitié d'une heure peut-être? All right, we're back.
And we're back.
Brief intermission. Had to tell my mom that we were recording an episode, and she already knew.
Okay.
I usually put a little like pamphlet downstairs, like a
Yeah,
little
it's
piece
too
of
bad you
scrap
don't have
paper.
like a door or like a trap door to help block the noise in the attic.
Yeah, I was thinking of throwing a little blanket over that thing. That might be a good idea, but
It's
I
all
don't
gonna
know.
move eventually.
Yeah.
That's the plan.
It's moving into the basement. Very exciting. I know, it's so exciting. Anyway, what were we talking about? We're talking about creativity being weird.
Yeah,
Creativity is pretty weird.
it is pretty weird.
Um,
One thing, this is actually okay. Here's another thing with like something that I assume is pretty normal about like the way my brain works.
Yeah.
Is I like to like do patterns of stuff. So this is, for example, walking on the sidewalk. I will like try and step on the sidewalk crack like an equal number of times with both my feet.
yeah.
So I'll be walking, right foot on the crack. Okay, I'll try and get the left foot on the sidewalk crack next time.
Just taking like slightly awkwardly big steps.
Yeah, like I try and get like a rhythm going. That's so.
So you like finding the patterns in things.
Yeah, for sure.
What are other things that you find patterns in?
Another one is when I'm driving or when I'm like in the bus or something going along the road. Often I play like a little game where I look at the road stripes and I try and like put my foot down for where it's a stripe and up for where it's not a stripe. So I'll be like kind of tapping my foot in rhythm with it. Or I'll do it where like I try and avoid the cars.
Oh yeah. Bus rhythm.
Is that a thing?
I do stuff like that quite often.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
See, maybe this isn't weird. It's I don't know anymore.
That's true. It's hard for people to know what's weird or normal because everyone just kind of lives in their own little experience.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I used to do this thing all the time where I'd like imagine there was a little dude running on like the hillside or like the countryside or like the traffic or whatever, and like jump through it. So like visualize running through traffic basically, but at traffic speed.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's pretty normal for people to fixate on things like that.
I think that's like a real deeply baked part of the human brain is that pattern recognition and
well,
stuff.
Some very like deep patterns, like this is a face, things
Yeah.
like that, or like this is a snake or something. Like we recognize things, which I think is always interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. We're pretty wild little critters, but there's one more thing I'd really like to dive into with you.
Sure.
Just kind of the Bowen life.
Oh yeah.
Obviously, I don't think most people probably don't know, but for people that do know, Evan obviously has been on Bowen. You did mention that.
Yeah.
Been on Bowen for a long time, and it's a beautiful spot.
It is beautiful.
You have
I will give it that.
an amazing house off a ways out into the island.
Yeah.
A large property and lots of wildlife and a little lake and a trail nearby, and it's incredibly serene, but it's also not like the big city.
Definitely not.
it's as far removed as you can get from that.
Yeah, we pretty much from our house there, you can't like see any other houses.
Yeah, it's like secluded.
It's like all forest everywhere.
It's amazing.
We
but
do have a decently nearby neighbor, but
yeah,
like one neighbor.
yeah, and I don't know. It's just a very different lifestyle. I'm curious as to how you think that's kind of affected you as like a young person.
Yeah. It has been it's been a bit tough.
Yeah.
I will definitely say. I don't want to I mean, like I said, Bowen, very beautiful place, but I don't think it's quite for me, at least in this part of my life and in when I was in high school. Just like being physically separated from
it's
like,
very isolated.
all your friends and stuff is something that has been or was a big issue. So yeah, that's I think a lot of my social interaction now, like a lot of it is online. I know people like all across the continent pretty much at this point, which is kind of an interesting experience that I don't think everyone has. Like, oh yeah, I know that some guys in Georgia that I like play games with all the time.
Just
I've never met them in person.
Super tight
I don't
homies.
really know what they look like.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Found other ways to make friends in a way.
Yeah, exactly. But it's definitely it's been hard, like getting moving back to so when I moved up to SFU and now more local, it's definitely hard getting to know people.
Yeah.
It's a skill that I feel like I'm missing a little bit.
Yeah. There's definitely a skill to meeting and like interacting with people.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I guess especially when you spend a lot of time not doing that, it becomes harder for sure.
Yeah, but I do like to think I think I do have like a pretty good appreciation of nature and of that kind of lifestyle that I think a lot of people wouldn't have.
Yeah. You've lived the kind of serenity of it for a long time.
Like I've come to appreciate it.
Yeah.
But I just know that it isn't really for me.
Yeah, or at least at this point, obviously, you want to like
exactly.
you want to study and have friends and go out and commit debauchery with people God only knows. But it's exciting to be like fucking 20 and doing whatever.
Yeah, it's there's definitely a lot of skills that come with that, like a lot of practical, quote unquote, practical skills. But like chopping wood,
man of the woods.
Yeah. Like some more building, digging, garden related skills.
Yeah.
Some sort of just like navigation in a way.
Getting around the
I'm
woods.
Pretty good at.
Yeah.
Not getting super lost. It's hard though. It's really easy to get lost in the woods. It's crazy.
It definitely doesn't take skills to get lost in the woods. Yeah. But no, it's really cool. I'm curious as to what about Bowen you kind of enjoyed the most. Like if there was anything about it that you'd really put on like the highest pedestal, like one day I'll go back to this for this reason. Is there anything about it that really like stands out to you?
I think more recently, like the last couple years living there and after moving away, like I still visit a lot, but it's definitely like an appreciation for getting work done or like getting something physically done. So like I said, like chopping wood, digging something up, making a path or a trail or building something.
Yeah, setting up a new garden.
And you put some like real effort to it and you get a real tangible outcome.
Yeah.
Which is something, especially like in school, you lack that a lot. Like you'll write like a assignment and it's not like something that's important in your life anymore. It's gone.
It's like you make this file that sends off to someone that you don't get to talk to about it, that then you just never see again.
Yeah, like it'll take effort, but it won't change your life.
Yeah, you're not gonna walk on your assignment to get to your front door.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, it's cool. I love being able to visit your place on Bowen. It's always been like a really special place.
Yeah.
To be able to go. And I mean, for me, I have spent most of my time growing up in the city, so it is something special to be able to get out. I guess it's all about like the moderation, right?
Yeah, it's it's definitely nice to go there to be there sometimes, but when it's like 100% of the time is when it can be pretty tough.
Yeah, it's just a long ways out, for sure. But I don't know. It kind of makes it more special, at least for the times that like I got to visit when you were there and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, it's awesome hanging out there.
Yeah. Oh, it's so fun to go there.
It's just tough not having like people locally to do that with.
Yeah. And that's kind of the small town life. The thing, everyone there is so nice.
Yeah, it really is like a small town community.
It's the suburbs.
Like it's one of those like everyone knows each other kind of. Everyone's really nice to each other kind of communities.
Yeah, totally. And you really see it when you go there.
Yeah. Which is something that for like how close it is to the greater Vancouver area is something that you wouldn't really expect to find.
Yeah, that's true, honestly.
In that range.
That's true. I would honestly expect it to be like all the wealthier West Vanners or whatever that just wanted to get like out of the mansions and into their own little woodsy paradise.
Yeah, it's starting to turn to that a bit. I mean, I think people are really starting to realize that it isn't that far from Vancouver, or not as far as previously thought. And with like the housing market in Vancouver being crazy, it's just been pushing onto the Bowen market has been just going nuts in terms of like prices and availability.
Have you noticed a big increase in the last like few years?
Yeah. So like housing prices and like the rate at which they're being purchased and being purchased like above asking and all that has been happening a lot recently.
Whoa. And I guess as a Bowener yourself, how do you feel? Bowenite? Is that what you guys call yourselves?
I don't even know.
Bowener. Bowenese. No. God. Terrible. Islander. Yeah, as being an islander. How do you feel about that? Like, are you excited to see more money and like more people go in, or do you like the little isolatedness kind of small town vibe it's got?
Well, as someone who knows a bit about the political landscape of the island, it's pretty tough on the island because you get a large population of people who kind of expect a lot of amenities, who are maybe used to living like in other suburbs or downtowns or just areas with higher population, and those areas also have higher budgets, so it's really difficult to try and fulfill those needs or those wants that a lot of people have, because there's like less than 5,000 people I think living on island, and that's classified as like a town or something. Like it's still like a small, inside in population it's a small community.
Yeah.
But I think one thing that's kind of kept the amenities up is the amount of tourism that happens. Like that's a massive market on Bowen, is the tourism. So we have like way more restaurants than you would normally expect a town of that size to have.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. And there's definitely quite a bit of people that will go just to like go for the day.
Yeah.
A little day Bowen trip.
Exactly. It's a huge amount of people who do that, especially in the summer. And
I mean, yeah, it's such a fast ferry and everything. It is a premium spot. I don't want to advertise it too much,
because it's a nice spot.
Too many people will go and it won't be as nice anymore, you know.
No, don't say that.
But
your tens of thousands of listeners will flock there.
All 30 of you.
Yeah.
No, but
I mean, I recommend, it's a very nice spot to go. I definitely recommend having like a plan ahead.
Yes.
Because if you don't plan ahead, you're going to kind of run out of stuff to do. It's definitely a really popular thing is just go for like a day hike. So you can go up like Mount Gardner, which is like a 4 or 5 hour hike, which is really nice. There's a lot of smaller hikes as well, and then go to a restaurant, catch the ferry back in the evening. It's a nice like day trip.
That's a good recommendation.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah. I mean, from my own experience, there is not that much to do. It's an awesome place to cycle.
Yeah.
It's an awesome
if
biking.
you like hills.
Yeah. I mean, if you're cycling, you gotta love hills, right?
Yeah, in Vancouver.
In Vancouver. I mean, there's probably some people out there that are like, I only want to ride on a perfectly flat loop. But
people have different experiences with cycling.
Yeah, exactly. But at least I found it very enjoyable to bike with all the hills, because there are a lot of hills. It's a very like roller coastery spot.
Mm-hmm.
Very roller coastery spot. It is unfortunate there's no like actual high school on it.
Yeah, on one hand it's unfortunate. On the other hand, it's nice that we get to go to the preppy West Van high schools.
Yeah.
They're all like, the school I went to was way too nice.
Was it?
It was a very nice school.
And how could it be like too nice?
It was, so like at the time it was like less than 1,000 students, like really modern architecture, a lot of opportunities for extracurricular and like AP courses, lots of clubs and all that. But really it was just a super nice building with a lot of opportunities for stuff, which you wouldn't have that if we had a Bowen High School.
Yeah, that's very true.
It wouldn't exist.
Yeah, not that much opportunity.
So it is a pain in the ass to an hour and a half of commute each direction every day.
It's a long way.
But I will say that I'm glad I went to that high school just for the like academic opportunities and extracurricular opportunities.
Yeah.
That I've gained from it.
Did you have any clubs you really liked?
Yeah, so I was was in the jazz band, which was fun. I did a bunch of advanced placement courses, so I did calculus, computer science, physics, which are like being able to succeed in those is really helpful going to university. And I was in the Model UN.
The Model UN.
Interesting. I'm not super like politically minded, but the fun thing about the Model UN is when you go to the conferences that they hold, where like you get students from all different schools and stuff, even people like flying in or like busing in to these massive conferences. The way we do it is you'd go for like a weekend, and it'd pretty much be like all the people in the club who are going sharing a couple hotel rooms. And so in between like our big conference times where you just kind of sit in like a massive room full of people, at least the conferences I was in, and you go up and you get to talk occasionally. You solve like fictional real world problems. So like, oh, there's some drug crisis in whatever country. It's like, oh geez,
Istanbul needs naloxone.
Yeah, we got to solve this. But then the rest of the time you just get to hang out with everyone else. We would always do stupid stuff, like go down to McDonald's at like midnight wearing our bathrobes.
Classic, the hotel robes.
Yeah, the hotel robes. Go buy one cheeseburger.
Just like a whole group of you.
Yeah. It was just fun to do stuff like that, and I'm glad I was able to do stuff like that, because I really would have missed out.
Yeah,
otherwise.
That's true. Get some trips in. Did you ever travel anywhere for it, or was it at your school?
It was the conferences. The only ones I went to were ones in Vancouver, so local ones. Yeah. No. I couldn't justify like going on a big trip or anything because I really wasn't into the Model UN part of it.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's fair. I guess some people were into it enough to like cross like towns and cities.
For sure.
Really, really go for it. And I respect that. That's like the reach for the top or whatever kids were doing when you do like trivia. People travel all around to do trivia or like sports.
Oh, yeah, exactly. That like top level of a...
Shout out to Iverson.
Yeah.
Smart. Well, I don't know how well he did at trivia, but he is smart. Apparently.
Yeah.
Our high school team did really well.
Oh, nice.
But I don't know. You'll have to comment that if you're watching, John.
Yeah, leave a comment.
Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. God, I'm so bad at like the whole internet thing. I feel like you need to tell people what to do.
You need thumbnails like like a red arrow. He said what? Yeah.
I don't know. Well, I've been enjoying making my thumbnails like silly pictures I have.
Yeah.
They've been fun. But
oh no, for sure. I think that's the way to go.
No, definitely. I probably have some pictures of you from like Halloween that are really good.
Yeah, maybe.
Like 2 Halloweens ago.
Yeah, that was a fun night.
That was a pretty wild night.
Yeah.
With all the fireworks at Lord Nelson.
That was really cool. I'm sad we didn't get to do it this year.
Yeah.
We had a Halloween party.
Lots of Halloween fun. Yeah. Shout out to the Halloween party goers.
At the Coombe Castle.
The Coombe Castle. It's pretty wild. To shout for people who want the background on the Coombe Castle name. Some friends of mine are roommates at this place, not too far off of UBC, and they wanted to be able to let people leave reviews on Google Maps because that's really important.
Yeah.
Make sure you leave the Coombe Castle a review, but of course Google wouldn't allow the Cum Castle. So
that'd be insane.
Oh, welcome to the Cum Castle. So they called it the Coombe Castle instead,
which is very reasonable.
Yeah,
it's listed as a castle.
This is legitimately
listed
as a castle. I love it. But I always thought it was for the Coomers MP4.
Don't watch that.
Please do.
This is like it turned people off. It's very funny, but also just an awful video. Yeah,
it's terrible. But I do have to credit Evan for my knowing of its existence.
Don't tie me into this.
I'm sorry, Evan. You're being incriminated. But no, it's pretty silly.
It's a funny video.
It's pretty terrible. But that's the background on the whole castle, I guess, for those of you who didn't know. Most of you probably don't. I don't know.
This is like a weird tangent.
This is a very
What are you
weird
talking about,
tangent.
man?
I don't know. I just wanted to explain to people why the Coombe Castle was called the Coombe Castle.
Yeah.
And also to please leave a review. Do you know what time it is? Do we need to worry?
10 to 6.
Oh, we should probably wrap this up pretty soon.
Yeah. Is it becoming that time?
Yeah. Well, Evan and I are off to go see some music.
Yeah. Gonna go to a concert.
Yeah.
Should take you got a picture there, and put that as a thumbnail.
That's a good idea, actually.
Maybe. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I might bring my camera. I might not.
Yeah. We should use a phone.
Yeah, phone would do it.
It's a thumbnail image.
No, but I like the fun portraits. I'll have to show you the pictures I got on my computer. Find some good ones. Anyway, that's most of an episode. I would just want to make sure I didn't forget to ask you any questions because
yeah, I think
I guess the only thing oh yeah, there is one thing I actually did want to talk to you about.
For sure.
I have one last question that I think is relevant. I'll try not to go too long because we don't have that much time. But I'd love to talk to you about games.
Oh,
I think games are really cool. You're a bit of a video game master.
I'm a bit of a gamer.
Evan is a little bit of a gamer.
It's definitely a big part of my life, especially with the online. That's with the internet being my social circle.
Yeah.
Video games are a big connector between people.
It's a social activity. So
yeah.
That's definitely a point I'd like to touch on. But the other thing I see is even when it's not video games, something even like Magic the Gathering, which we've been playing for more than a decade, or something like Settlers of Catan, you really get tuned in and think it through really deeply, which I've always admired. It's very hard.
I'm a tryhard.
Very hard to beat this man at a game. Struggle.
That's something in my brain that wants to do everything really optimally.
Yeah.
So there's the whole field of game theory, which is looking at strategy and topics like that, but through a sort of analytic mathematical lens, which is something I'm super interested in. That's one of my top interests that I wish I could explore more. It's kind of hard to explore that that realm.
I see. No, it is amazing. I'm wondering what aspect of it, what is it about the game that's inherent to the gameness that really tunes you into it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I honestly think that, as mentioned before, I got a computer brain, and really how the underlying numbers and patterns and math and all that is represented through the game pieces is super interesting to me. You look at games like Settlers of Catan, where it's all about probability and maximizing your probability, and you want to plan out your spread of resources and all this. Is there's a lot of aspects in it that are really cool.
All right.
That really speak to me.
Yeah. I can definitely see that. I guess the other thing I'm curious about is in that moment, let's say you're in a really intense Catan game as it goes. Are you thinking oh, if I do this move, this probability of this going my way or this won't, are you breaking it down like that, or does it feel more instinctive for you?
No, it's 100% I'm breaking it down.
Okay.
Yeah, it's instinctive to break it down. All the time I'm doing risk reward, kind of. That's how my brain analyzes stuff, and it isn't the most applicable way of making decisions, but when it comes to playing games, it is very, very accurate. Oh, if I build here, then I'll get X percentage of Y resource, but then if I build here, this other thing will happen. And I like to think I'm good at making those decisions. Yeah, weighing it all out. And I definitely enjoy those kind of scenarios. So really strategically challenging games, like the ones you mentioned. I like puzzle games. Mm-hmm. I like on another hand, there's the other side of the coin where games being a social event or a way of interacting with friends and stuff a lot in the way that sports would be. If you have your friend group who all plays basketball or something, well, I've got my friend group who all play video games. Yeah. We all play whatever game. But that's a massive part of it for me as well. I often find myself not playing games if I'm not playing with somebody.
Yeah?
Which is an interesting spot to be in.
Kind of like the gym.
Yeah. It's less like the gym because I don't feel like I'm obligated to.
Oh yeah.
To play
I guess
games. It's not like I need to do it with someone, otherwise I'm gonna not do it.
But you want to, and having someone else there really makes it.
Yeah, that's the part that makes it enjoyable.
I see. It's not necessarily the game, but the experience of having it with someone else.
Yeah,
that's fair enough.
It's a shared experience.
Totally. And I mean, we do have our own little friend group that gets together with the Magic the Gathering.
Yeah.
Which has been amazing for these last many years.
Yeah, that's been going on for like
what, grade 4, grade 5?
Something like that.
It's been a minute. But no, it's cool to see, and I mean I love seeing how like into it you get. I think it's really cool and I admire it. Just
okay.
like I can tell you really think it through.
Yeah.
And it works. Like it works really well for you.
Yeah.
I mean, at least in our circles, I don't know how like world ranked you are at video games.
No, I'm not competitive when it comes to like trying to reach the highest plateau or whatever.
Yeah.
I like to do things optimally, but I don't like to I'm not like the person who will grind out like 1,000 games to get like super experienced and top ranked.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That doesn't make it enjoyable for me.
Yeah, it's doing like as best as you can with yourself, I guess.
Yeah, while like still keeping it like social and fun and casual.
That is a very different level of just like grinding your soul into it.
Yeah, there are people like that, which is commendable. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's crazy when retrospectively it's like, yeah, I put in thousands of hours of my life into like becoming amazingly good at this game.
Yeah,
that's a huge commitment.
It's a big commitment.
So
but some people it turns out really well for them, and for others I don't know. It's an awesome social outlet. It's good for a lot of things, but I don't know. I feel like in a way it's a drug like a lot of things. It's all about how you use it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It's definitely addictive sometimes.
Yeah.
I think that kind of limiting myself to doing it socially helps keep it from getting to that point.
I see. Yeah, it's like being a social drinker.
Yeah, exactly. Unless I have like a super enabling like friend group, then it's not really gonna get super out of control.
I see. But if you've got like 12 friends on Discord that are like on 24/7, it's gonna be really easy to play video games.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, that was kind of the last point I wanted to touch on.
I'm glad you brought that up, actually.
I was hoping to touch on it more, but it seems like we have somewhere exciting to be. Boo-hoo,
Yeah.
Gotta go to a concert.
It's gonna be fun.
I'm really excited. Thanks for the offer, honestly.
Yeah, and thanks for having me on the pod.
No worries, Chief.
This is really cool.
Has been a lot of fun.
I hope this isn't too boring.
Yeah,
listeners at home.
I've been trying to stay on top of it, but I don't know. Some people will enjoy it. Like I'm sure we'll have John Iveson or something getting at least this far. Cooper,
maybe one person.
One person. Shout out to you, boys. We love you.
Shout out if you made it all the way to this point. Huge shout out.
Huge shout out. I guess last thing, I'd love to give thank you to the people that have helped me. Because I've received a lot of help.
Yeah.
I have my friend Sam Mitchell. Thank you for theme music. Without you, I wouldn't have music.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I can't believe I even have music. I feel so
Crazy.
professional editing that in my Premiere. Thank you to Noah for letting me use your Premiere, because otherwise I literally wouldn't be able to put this together. So thank you. Otherwise, a big shout out to my mom and dad. I exist. That's about it.
Shout out to the day ones.
The day ones, all the OG homies, of course. And my buddy Reiner, who's helped me so much with all the setup, the lighting, the audio. So yeah, thank you all. Thank you for listening. If you made it this far, and
thank you.
Yeah, that'd be kind of wild. And I'm gonna try and edit in one of the videos of us singing, whatever I've saved onto my computer.
Yeah, sure thing.
I think that'll be hilarious.
Be a fun outro.
The best outro, little secret outro for the people that actually stuck it.
Exactly. Anyone who's listening has any questions, put them in the comment section. I'll come through and I'll try and answer anything that's down there.
People have questions, and make sure to like and subscribe.
Sure.
Share this content if you enjoyed it.
No, don't leave. Stop.
Wait. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Mwah.
Peace out.
Wild. I still don't know how to like YouTube.
Yeah, it's like hard to not do like a rambling outro.
Hey everyone, quick note. I just wanted to say I lost the audio, so I re-recorded the little song at my birthday. I hope you enjoy. It's pretty terrible. We're all out of tune, and unfortunately my mixer didn't get Noel's beautiful bass playing. So I'm sorry about that, Noel, and whoever's watching. Keep your eyes peeled for the birthday podcast episode. That should be out sometime soon. I don't know. I'll figure it out. Anyway, enjoy. Bye-bye.
Do that a little bit.
1, 2, 3, 4.
I see the crystal raindrops fall, and the beauty of it all is when the sun comes shining through to make those rainbows in my mind. When I think of you sometimes, and I want to spend some time with you, just the two of us. We can make it if we try, just the two of us. Just the two of us. Just the two of us. Building castles in the sky, just the two of us. You and I. We look for love, no time for tears. Wasted water's all that is, and it won't make no flowers grow. Good things might come to those who wait, but not for those who wait too late. We gotta go for all we know. Just the two of us. We can make it if we try, just the two of us. Just the two of us. Just the two of us. Building castles in the sky, just the two of us. You and I. You can do it.
Ba, da, da, da.
Let's go.
I hear the crystal raindrops fall on the window down the hall, and it becomes the morning dew. And darling, when the morning comes and I see the morning sun, I wanna be the one with you. Just the two of us. We can make it if we try, just the two of us. Just the two of us. Just the two of us. Building castles in the sky, just the two of us. You and I.
Ring, 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 ring. Solved!
I'm too sweaty for this.